Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Pleased to be joined by Brian Brown. Brian, this is last year's 3A state championship game. These two teams are region rivals. They're both undefeated in region, both undefeated on the regular season. We got strength against strength in 3A going toe-to-toe here tonight.
Yeah, and you can see out there already we've got the blackout uniforms out for Morgan. They're prepared for this one. They're hyped up, and it for good reason. Like you said, strength versus strength here is Grantsville brings their high-powered offense, 46 points per game, into Morgan territory, and you have to believe that Morgan is going to do everything they can to enforce their will from the defensive side of the football right from the jump.
There are really interesting storylines to this matchup. We'll get into those as the contest is underway. You mentioned blackout here at Morgan. Grantsville in the whites as they kick off, and this kick into the end zone for the touchback, so the Trojans will start at their own 20-yard line. And Brian, they have a whale of a quarterback in Nick Despain.
They do, and the junior QB is an absolute baller, already on the radar of everybody in the state for what he's done. And this Morgan football team, it has to come out early, set the tone, and try and get something going against Grantsville if they're going to stay neck for neck with that Grantsville offense.
How about through the smoke? You see the Trojan offense come up here to the 20. There's a lot of players for Morgan. Lish has had a great year running the football. We talked about Despain, who will start here in the pistol formation on first down. Despain to throw, and that ball incomplete. Was looking on the out route there. I think that was Justin wrong roster. I think it was Josh Criddle, the intended target there, incomplete.
Yeah, want to start out with something that you can get in rhythm there, not able to make the pass happen. And so maybe Morgan settles in a little bit here with a run, just try and get calmed down as they're super hyped up coming out of the tunnel. I guess it's actually an inflatable helmet, if I'm being honest.
It is. It's a good look here at Morgan. It's a 3A program, but it doesn't feel like a 3A program. They got an athletic facility here. The helmet is they do go on the ground. Brian, you called it, and not much there against this Grantsville defense. That ball coming out late. They're going to call the play dead here. Gain of maybe a half yard. Look, this Grantsville team, they've been known for their stingy defense.
They have, and this is really a program that has fought to get to this point. You don't go 7-0 by accident, and you can see the way they swarm to the football there. Again, thinking the same thing that I am, trying to calm down a little bit, get some run game. We'll see what Despain does here on 3rd and long.
Yeah, empty backfield, 5 receiver set here for Nick. Mentioned different jerseys for Morgan tonight, so we'll do our best with some of those numbers. We'll ask for your patience. Despain, time, rolling, looking downfield, looking deep, and this ball well overthrown. Was intended there for Gavin Turner, and it's 3 and out for the Trojans.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to Bradley Walters there on the offensive line. I believe that's who it was. Again, dealing with some different numbers here. Had a great job of getting rid of a Grantsville defender. I'll go ahead and call it a pancake, even though he didn't fall on top of him. So we've got our first enrollee in the pancake platoon tonight.
So good start for Grantsville. And it's one of the things, Brian, that's really interesting. You know, when you think about Grantsville, you think about defense. When you think about Morgan, you think about offense. But Morgan actually the number 1 defense in this region, and Grantsville the number 1 offense in this region. As this punt angled, and it will be down at about the 39-yard line. We'll see the Cowboy offense for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and you're going to give that offense great field position. As you said, they're going to start out about looks like the officials are going to give them to the 40-yard line. And again, it's an offense that's predicated on really running the football well and being explosive in that game. You know, this is a very unique matchup because, as you can see, that Morgan defensive front almost towers over the Grantsville offensive line. But again, Grantsville very efficient in how they do everything.
First down for Grantsville, starting with good field position at their own 40. And this thrown out. Oh, double pass. Has a man down the field. It's Gabe Moritzen, and that incomplete. Had it and broken up. The Morgan D makes a nice play.
Yeah, great defense there by Morgan. I don't know that they necessarily expected the double pass, but they certainly weren't fooled by the one player out there on a route. Moritzen not able to reel it in there, and that's a huge stop for them on first down. It looks like we might even be backing the ball up a little bit here.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was maybe beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball. The flag is near side, right along the line of scrimmage, and that is indeed the case. We'll back him up.
Yeah, tough one there for Parker Williams. I don't know if we can necessarily call him quarterback, the ball thrower on that play. Not used to having to be aware of the line of scrimmage like that.
Yeah. So it'll be second down after the penalty here and a loss of 5, 2nd and 15 here.
Late substitution here for Grantsville as they're trying to get personnel organized.
They'll head to the ground. Good hole up that left side, and Morgan, nice job there defensively to wrangle down the tackle.
Yeah, you can see this defense flows fast. They're well coached. They get to the football. Seeing the backside linebacker almost flowing over the top, reading that counter Trey-esque, run game from Grantsville.
This is a Grantsville offense. We talked about how prolific it's been. And look, Bell's been fantastic this year, but you talk about Moritzen, you talk about Rayner, there's a lot of guys, and it's 3rd and 11. They need some of those guys to step up here. 3 receivers at the top of the screen. Hunter Bell rolling to his right, pressure coming. Oh, he was just pushed down. Boy, tell you what, how about the ranginess there of Ty Wheeler to get the sack?
Yeah, Wheeler coming with some extreme force there.
That ball, the ball came out, and Morgan had it. They were pleading for a fumble, but the officials came together and said, no, he was down, 4th down, it'll be a Grantsville punt.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call on that one. But, again, just the absolute force to just push a player down like that, especially as he's trying to get towards the sideline and maybe create something, just a terrific play. And we're seeing early on both offenses maybe a little jittery, Dane.
It felt like Bell thought that he had plenty of angle there, and he was literally just pushed over. You don't see that very often. This ball trickling down. Boy, and is that a live football? I think Morgan is on it, but that was awfully close. So good punting indeed. It will be Morgan football as they'll start to get in their own 20.
Yeah, missed the tomato there, the rotten tomato as it almost bounced into the hands of a Grantsville player. And you'll see that not a lot of give there in the field position battle, and I think that's always something, especially at the high school level, that you look at.
Yeah.
So Grantsville can kind of, I don't think they can get another 3 and out here, but if they can kind of limit the gain of yardage, that could play to their advantage the next series.
First down, little toss here, trying that left side. Oh, how about the power stick there? Great carry there for Morgan as they'll pick up a solid 8 yards. I think it might have been Jaron Bell.
Great job there, lowering the head, and you see Morgan trying to go hurry up now, capitalize on the gain.
Again, asking for patience with these numbers here. Hard to tell the maroon on black. It's a great look, but it can be hard on that far side of the field, so we appreciate your patience as we work through it.
These uniforms definitely aren't made for TV announcers at the high school level.
It was actually Gunnar Lish. Want to get that right. It was number 22 out of the backfield on that carry. A penalty flag here. False start. Morgan will be backed up here.
And that's a tough one right there because you get 2nd and 5, we call it 2nd and brown bear, 2nd and average when I'm with JT. But you want to be average because average means that you're ahead of most everybody else, right? Get that penalty, now you're back to 2nd and 9, and that's, that's where you start to get in that dangerous territory, especially at the high school level.
Well, especially against this Grantsville defense as well. Want to let you know the clock you see on your screen is unofficial. At times we'll start early, start late, that sort of thing, as Morgan on the ground here. And boy, stood up after a gain of 2. We were a little ahead, so we're just letting the clock catch up here with our unofficial clock there on the screen as we approach 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, and look, stop the run is the name of the game at any level of football, right? So you know that Grantsville's going to have the heart of that defense well prepared for this Morgan run game. Want to see them get a little bit more outside. They love this pistol set. I do as well. It gives you that advantage where you can get guys like Lish out into the flat.
3rd and 7 to Spain, has that route over the middle, able to find it. Gavin Turner on the reception and a first down for the Trojan, our first down of the game.
Yeah, and it's a great play call here. You run Turner across the field there, kind of getting going from zone to zone. You can see him use his speed to get that first down.
And Morgan trying to get tempo going here, up to the line quickly as they're on the ground. Good carry up the left side, a gain of 12 there on the carry, maybe by Jet Salmon.
And Salmon, you can see him swimming upstream with a lot of speed there against that Grantsville defense. And this is where you really want to go with the hurry up, is now you're getting first down after first down.
I see what you did there. Nice reference there, Brian. Keep. Oh, gets a good block, and here's Despain in the open field. Despain got tackled by the turf monster on his home field at the 25.
Well, shout out to cameraman Bill on that one. He noticed the turf is a little bit long, maybe from our perspective, but that was the only thing that could tackle Despain, as he does a great job reading his blockers, getting to the outside. Almost had a touchdown on that one.
Here come the Morgan Trojans, 1st and 10 at the Grantsville 25. Despain pistol again. Quick routes, boy, right through the hands there of Josh Criddle. Good look.
You can see this Morgan offense is just a massive, strong, athletic football team, and Grantsville's trying to adjust to the size. It is a big task, but if they can hold here, that's a big, big win for this Grantsville defense.
When it feels like Morgan's starting to find the rhythm, too.
And that incompletion throws him off the rhythm a little bit, gives you a chance if you're Grantsville to maybe make a play here and get him into 3rd and long.
2nd down. Despain looking. There it is. This ball caught, and how about dragging the defense and a 1st down for Morgan on the effort by Josh Criddle.
Yeah, what a good, strong football play that was. Has the defender on his waist, keeps those legs churning, and now Morgan back up and ready to go on offense.
Despain to the ground. Lish up that left side. Lish keeping on his feet. Boy, what looked like no gain there, Brian. He's got a gain of 6.
Yeah, we call it second effort, Dane, but really it's just effort, period, right? You absorb the contact, keep those legs driving, able to pick up a big chunk of yardage, and that's where Morgan really needs to focus right here in the red zone.
2nd and 4 for the Trojans. Up the gut. Lish lowering the pads, and he's got 1st and goal here for Morgan.
Yeah, that Grantsville defense looking a little winded right now. That up-tempo move by Morgan definitely playing in their favor.
How about Gunnar Lish? Boy, he's been physical. I didn't quite expect that level of physicality from him.
Yeah, he's a big back at 6 feet, I believe 170, but he runs with some real force to him.
They will bring in Salmon here, the sophomore. Lined up behind Despain. They give it to the sophomore. Touchdown, Morgan! The Trojans strike first.
Yeah, great job there by Morgan, bringing in the extra offensive lineman, trying to spread out that already thin Grantsville defense, and they just kind of mow everybody over on the way to the end zone. And it really a perfect capper to a beautiful football drive right there.
Beautiful football drive, and you talk about some couple 3rd down conversions there, but really, boy, that ground attack, Morgan really leaning on it, and it helps them find the end zone as a point after try. The kick up. Good. 7-0. Morgan takes the lead here in the 1st quarter over Grantsville. Watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week on KSLSports.com.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time. Courses on your time. Graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of VIEW.
Welcome back here, Morgan, Utah. The Trojans with the 7-0 drive. KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week is brought to you by Heidemann Associates. If you have any legal needs, call the experts at Heidemann Associates for a free consultation. Tell them Rewind sent you when you call 801-754-4240. Dane Stewart, Brian Brown with you. Brian, that looked like the Morgan offense that Trojan fans have seen all year long.
Yeah, and it was. And the big part about it, Dane, was the explosive plays. After they gathered that 1st down, 2 big chunk plays to get them up to midfield, using that up-tempo offense to continue to move the ball. And by the time they got down into the red zone, it was basically a wrap. If Grantsville's going to stay in this, they've really got to focus on getting them off the field before they get to that 40, 50-yard line.
Morgan to kick off for the first time tonight. How about the spiral kick? Fielded at the 5, and a return here being brought up by Rayner. Ethan through 1 tackle. Ethan Rayner across midfield, and Rayner has a chance for the kickoff return through the kicker. No, tackled at the 11 by the kicker. Bo Johnson makes the stop, but it'll be 1st and 10 Grantsville at the 11.
Well, Dane, normally you never want to get tackled by the kicker, but it looks like Morgan's got some speed even at the kicking position. Bottom line, it's a great job by the special teams for Grantsville, and Rayner just finds that seam, and he was almost off to the races. Nevertheless, this Grantsville offense has great field position here at the 11-yard line and a chance to get this one even.
Bo Johnson, making Moose Bingham proud somewhere, representing kickers across the state.
Hey, Bo's making me proud, and I don't even like kickers most of the time.
First and 10, Grantsville. Boy, an opportunity for a big answer here for the Cowboys on the road. Bell will give this off, looking up the middle, right through the teeth of that Morgan D and that offensive line, helping to power ahead for a gain of 6.
Yeah, and you hear the kind of the scream from the Morgan crowd as they're happy that they finally got him down, but not until he got 6 yards of gain there on first down, running behind the big body of Damian Nelson there, 6'6", 300 pounds. That guy can move some man meat.
Wearing number 62, he's your left tackle tonight. And, yeah, he's a big boy, especially across the state, regardless, let alone being 3A. Back to the ground. 34, what a run. Rayner, is he in? Yes, he is. Touchdown, Grantsville.
Well, we just talked about it right there, Dane. Big guy, moves his feet well, able to drive and open up a hole, and Grantsville pulls almost even pending this PAT with Morgan here in the first quarter. What a great answer for this Grantsville special teams and offense.
Chance for the point after to tie it up. The Cowboys. Boy, that snap high. The snap high, rolling out to the right, looking for somewhere, nowhere to go, and the Morgan special teams able to take advantage of the miscue.
Well, there must be a curse or something, because as soon as I mentioned Grantsville special teams have a little bit of a mishap, but you can see how important every phase of every play is. If there's just something that's not quite right, it can cause a major disruption, and it's still early. But that extra point, especially given how strong these teams are defensively, could have a big impact.
Well, and here's the other thing: as this game plays on, you score again. Now you always got that temptation: do I go for 2 now, or do I not? And does that deficit get bigger, or do you close it? Right? And we've seen that at games this year where an early missed point after, and now you're always chasing that point, and it ends up being a difference in the game.
Exactly. And most of these high school programs don't have a full analytics department to tell them when to go for 2. It's just kind of a gut feel thing.
Yeah.
And so what you love is the response by Grantsville.
Yes.
That's a huge pushback, right? But now you're going to start thinking, okay, as they continue to fight, how big does that gap grow?
Well, their defense is going to have to come out on the field after a short rest. We'll see if they're good to go as we approach the midway point here in this first quarter. This kick, high, short, returnable, fielded at the 10. Oh, finds a seam, beautiful return, still on his feet before being gang tackled right at the 29. Might have been Connor Brown with the return. Nope, my bad. Zach Nelson, again, numbers, Nelson on the return there.
Yeah, it looked like they had maybe a reverse or maybe a fake reverse, whatever it was. Nelson does a smart thing, keeps the football, gets them up to about the 29. It looks like they'll be spotting that one at. And now we're going to see how Morgan does after the response. So the response after the response.
These two teams played twice last year, once in region, once in the state championship game. The most Morgan scored last year against this Grantsville defense was 10 points. So they got to be pleased with how they're showing up here early as they swing this out into the flat and off the reception. Lish ahead for a gain of 6.
That's a nice job by Grantsville to get to the football. They had a lot of open field there, and I want to see Morgan get to the sideline like that. They've got some explosive athletes, especially given the size of those guys. Get outside as much as you can, but then come back and try and wear them down a little bit in the inside.
Boy, look at how they split one receiver out, and that's actually Rayner who's in coverage there. So you take one of the better defenders kind of away from the meat of the play. Could be an advantage for the Trojans. We've seen them with a similar lineup at times tonight here on 2nd and short. Edge pressure coming as Despain running away from it. Might have got tripped up there by his teammate. No gain.
Yeah, and you can see exactly what Morgan's trying to do. Keep Rayner away from the football, running there into the boundary, and trying to get some motion action into it to get Grantsville to not only show the coverage, but also to change up the men on each side of the football. One of those parts about the game that we rarely talk about, those quarterbacks are always counting who's on what side.
Yeah, you hear more and more analysts talk about the math of the game, right, and where you've got the numbers advantage. 3rd and short here. You got trips to the bottom of the screen, and now you've got a whistle and a timeout going to be taken here by the Cowboys.
Yeah, it looks like there was a late personnel substitution or something going on with Morgan, and I think Grantsville was just a little bit uncomfortable sensing the situation. It's a good time to take a timeout, especially in the first half. Like we talked about, keep it as close as you can.
Timeout, Grantsville. We'll step aside. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week presented by Heidemann Associates and brought to you by Western Governors University.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
Welcome back. 7-6 Morgan facing a 3rd and 4. Brian, we've seen this run game be really strong. What do you expect Morgan to do here on 3rd down?
Well, you got a lot of options, right? And I think you have to do something where you get that running back tandem involved out of the backfield. So either, something where Despain has an option to throw the ball, maybe an RPO here. But I think more than anything, you just need to get outside.
They will let Despain use his arm. That incomplete, boy. That's a heck of a throw, trying to get it to Lincoln Gilson and just couldn't handle on. There was a lot of heat on that.
There was, and that's a tough throw. We don't really talk about how those out routes really have to travel some distance. You can see Despain wanted to get the ball there, gave his receiver an opportunity to get it. They just aren't able to connect, and that's a big stop for Grantsville.
Yes, it is, and Rayner now back standing in his own 30-yard line. Probably looking at his chops here, waiting for another opportunity to return. This punt, high, fair catch signaled for, and that one right through, but Rayner able to get on it for no return.
Yeah, one of those tough-to-field punts is that ball's kind of swirling around, not just the nice tight spiral like you might be used to. Does a good job signaling the fair catch and then making sure he's able to secure it after the initial bobble.
We talk about these two teams, both 7-0 coming into this contest. It's the best start for Grantsville since 1992. They started 8-0 that year before losing to Morgan.
You love that kind of history, Dane, and it's been a while since they've been able to get a win up here at Morgan as well. It looks like, I'm trying to remember, it was not since 2007 that they've been able to win up here. So a lot on the line for both of these programs, not just being undefeated, but also in terms of pride and the rivalry aspect as well.
It's the most played rivalry for both of these schools, which surprised me. And Morgan does have the edge. I think they've played 88 times. I think they've won 53. Morgan has had the better end of that. But boy, Grantsville and the job that Coach Bird has done in building this program has been nothing short of just fantastic.
Yeah, it really has, and this is a program that's been through a lot. Was able to secure his 50th win last week as a head coach at Grantsville. So, there's a lot of good things happening for this Grantsville program. You can see how well coached this team is too.
Rayner there in motion on 2nd down. They'll stay on the ground, though this is a give to Moritzen, and Moritzen ahead there for a gain of about 3.
Grantsville kind of settling in a little bit up front, able to get that movement. We talked about it. Sometimes when there's a little bit of size disparity on the defensive and offensive lines, it takes a second for the offensive line to kind of catch their breath and settle in and find those angles. And you're seeing it now. 3rd and 4, Grantsville's starting to build that.
It's one of the things we talk about how good this Morgan defense has been. And when you talk with Coach Barlow, he says, look, our defense loves to play. They love to be in these moments. That's why they've played so well this year. They got a big moment here on 3rd and 6. Pistol formation again here for Bell. Boy, trying to get that out quickly and just overthrew his target. He was open. He had Parker Williams, but just too tall on that throw, Brian.
Yeah, and Williams a big target out there. They had the right scheme on. He found the seam, just not able to get the ball in there. And he'll settle in. He'll make that throw. And, we'll see it in the future, but it's just, that's, again, talked about it, another big stop on defense for Morgan.
A punt here. Boy, again, Morgan's getting a lot of pressure on those kicks. And this one is muffed, and I think Grantsville might have it. The punt was muffed. Grantsville saying they're on it. They'll unpile it, and they will give it to Morgan. Woo, that was close.
Again, another tomato dodge here as these things are flying left and right here, but we talk about special teams. They're special for a reason, Dane. You've got to have people that are willing to commit and go out there and play. Morgan doing a good job of finding a way to get pressure on the punt. Have to secure it on the other end, though.
The jet stream tonight is all over the place. Just making returns a nightmare.
Yeah. We need Moose to come in with a weather report.
First down here for Morgan. Despain coming near side. That caught. Garrett, not much room to work. Tackled right where he made the grab, a gain of 4.
You can just see how well coached this Grantsville team is. Both defenders coming in with leverage, right? Staying maintained. 28 goes to a knee, still able to get up and make the play and contain the back. That could have been a huge gain for Morgan. Instead, they're back to 2nd and long.
Spain coming up here, checking with the line. As this first quarter continues, just move right along. They'll go on the ground. Boy, a lot of room near side. And how about absorbing the hit? And then that ball jarred loose. The ball is fumbled, and Grantsville has it. Boy, it was a heck of a job. And we've got an injured player here back behind the play. We're not going to show you that, but my goodness, what a jarring hit that was given to Rayner. And then Morgan ends up losing it. Grantsville will have the ball. Injury timeout. We're going to step aside, and we'll be back after this.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Welcome back as you see Foamile, the senior, walking off the field. And a welcome sight. Brian, that did not look good. And, boy, good to see that he's okay as he'll be taken off. Grantsville has the ball, 1st and 10 after the fumble. Bell looking deep, has a man. Rayner just misses it. Oh, a good opportunity. Hits the turf.
Well, it's not the result that you want of Grantsville. You've got the right play call and has his man beat, just not able to connect on it. But I love the bounce back by the Grantsville quarterback there. Throws a good ball, able to get it into the receiver's hands, settle down a little bit. Now they've got a little bit of work cut out for them now as it's second and long.
It was one of the things I talked to Coach Bird before the game. I said, do you try to run the ball and shorten this game? He's like, oh, we got some athletes on the outside. We love to run it. But no, we'll mix some things up, and they had the opportunity there.
You can see Bunderson's got the arm to throw those deep passes.
Staying on the ground. Oh, good job by that Morgan defense. They set the edge there, Brian, really know where to go.
Yeah, and looking for the run all the way. Just had it perfectly set up, and that strong, stout defensive line able to keep Grantsville from getting any kind of movement.
And it will bring up a 3rd and long, 3rd and 8 here for the Cowboys. As a little pump-up music here on 3rd down. The stands are packed. We talked about this rivalry. Region championship on the line. Both these two teams in the top 3 in the RPI seeding. There's a lot riding on this game here. And a big 3rd down here. Look at all the bodies in the backfield, huh? They'll hand it off. Looking up the middle, gain of 3. Not much more for the take there of Morrison. 4th down, Grantsville.
Yeah, you have to wonder if maybe Grantsville was thinking of 4-down territory or trying to catch Morgan off guard a little bit, just not able to do it. And that, again, that stout, strong defensive front anchored there by Sean Moore, the senior at the outside edge, does a great job of limiting Grantsville there.
You've got an H-back and you've got 2 backs. A low snap on the punt. And this one jarred loose. And Morgan's going to have great field position after a special team snafu by Grantsville.
We saw it again, Dane. Like, everything has to go right in order for a punt to get off there, and you almost just kind of want to go from her. If you're at the 50-yard line, if you're Grantsville, you've seen some progress. You know you can make some yards. Instead, the worst possible outcome as Morgan now gets the ball in plus territory at the 39 heading in towards the end zone.
The snap is low. It skips the turf. It disrupts all the timing, and especially when Morgan's already getting pressure there, I think maybe by Jimmy Savage, you're playing with fire, and you do as much as you can to save that play, but just too much, and Morgan's set up here.
Yeah, they are, and you have to think that this explosive offense will try and get a TD early on.
Despain. Boy, he was looking for a home run. He'll settle for underneath. Is that caught, wrapped up immediately, but it's a good gain here for Morgan as it's Turner with the reception.
Despain from a smaller school, so you don't normally hear a lot about those quarterbacks, Bryson Barnes, but you can see the talent. He's just sitting outside of the pocket, waiting, throws a strike.
They'll go to the ground here on first down. Running into a couple Cowboys there is Salmon on the take, a gain of 5.
Salmon kind of the speed back there for Morgan, not able to square up and hit the defender as he's kind of turning his back a little bit. Want to make sure that you keep that ball security when you do that kind of thing and keep those pads low.
They do not have to run a play here. As the clock down to 2, they will. Despain to end the quarter. Sirens going off. Despain taking off and running as he'll spin down to the 11, a first down for Morgan. And with that, the first quarter comes to a close.
Well, I'll take that highlight all day long to end the quarter. Great run on the scramble by Despain. And this is one of the best first quarters I've seen all year, Dane. I'm pumped for the next 3.
Morgan leading Grantsville 7-6, but they're in the red zone, threatening. We'll have the second quarter for you after this. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week.
Salt Lake Running Company is inspiring our community to move with purpose, embrace adventure, and consciously connect to their bodies. Exercise is essential, now more than ever. Take control of the chaos and make time for you. From the gym to the trail, SLRC can help you find the focus to define your finish line. Visit one of our 5 locations along the Wasatch Front or shop online at slrc.com.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Start of the second quarter. It is 7-6. Morgan, Nick Despain showing he's got more than just an arm, the legs, creating 1st and 10 here at the 11.
Yeah, and you love to see it with these, so to speak, small school quarterbacks that can do both.
Despain, the toss. And a pickup here of 5 on the carry there for Lish. We've got another Grantsville player here down after the play. Oh, just getting up. Okay. How about the physicality of Morgan? My goodness.
Yeah, a big, strong football team, and they're definitely playing that to their advantage as they continue to kind of chop wood against this Grantsville defense.
2nd and 5 here for the Trojans. Boy, that snap couldn't be handled. Now we'll have the flags here. It'll be a false start.
Yeah, and maybe the best possible result for Morgan on that one. Want to settle down a little bit here, kind of starting to get a little, antsy maybe to try and get that ball in the end zone. Not a bad situation. Just huddle up, take a deep breath, and let Despain do what he does best and operate this offense.
We'll back Morgan up to the 11 for 2nd down. Second and 10 after the penalty. Bunch formation to the bottom of the screen. Grantsville looking to bring pressure. Despain looking, end zone. The ball is caught where his feet in. Yes! Touchdown, Morgan! What a throw, what a catch.
Well, it's just an overall great play, Dane, and you're even seeing the running backs getting in on the pancake platoon on the protection there. But what's so impressive is the ability to secure the ball, to get the toe down. I think it's a great call there by the officiating crew. We had a nice angle on it, and as long as he secured that one going to the ground, that should be one in contention for one of the top 5 highlights of the state.
We'll have to see if we can bribe Dusty and Vince to get that one in there. Just teasing.
I hope I know a guy.
Hashtag Rewind 5 is this point after up and good. 14-6. The Trojans take the lead thanks to the arm of their quarterback, Nick Despain.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
What a crowd on hand tonight at Morgan High School. And the Trojans giving them a little value for their ticket tonight with 14-6 lead here early in the second quarter.
Yeah, the show's not just on the field, but also off the field as they get the lights going after the touchdown there. And we've got a great game building up for us right now, Dane, as Morgan does a terrific job of engineering another touchdown drive.
Morgan here to kick off. You'll see green wraps on a lot of these Morgan players. We'll talk about that story after this kickoff. As the question quickly becoming, can Grantsville's offense keep pace with the pace that Morgan is establishing here in this first half? Deep end zone touchback. Green wraps tonight for Morgan. A great storyline here tonight. The Trojans have a junior, Luke Olson. He's got 2 younger siblings, Cooper and Lincoln, both diagnosed with a rare form of muscular dystrophy. They're doing an honor tonight. Tonight, Cooper and Lincoln helped the team come out of the helmet onto the field. They're wearing green color for awareness of muscular dystrophy. As Luke, his younger brother tonight, being incorporated here in the stadium and the team unifying around those green bands. You'll see those worn by the Trojans here tonight. And great story, great community support here at Morgan High of those types of things is what makes local football special. Is this first down play, not much there for Grantsville.
Yeah, trying to catch Morgan kind of asleep at the wheel there and just not able to get the ball. It looked like it was Kelton Bird might have been the wide receiver there in the middle of the field, but a lot of Morgan defenders to knock that down. And you talk about it, Dane, we love seeing these teams support their communities. It's a huge representation, when these guys go out and play on Friday nights, not just for the names on their backs, but also the names on their front.
Yeah. It's a 2nd and 10 here for the Cowboys. That's Rayner in motion. They'll give it to him on the sweep, and Rayner nowhere to go as the Morgan defense continuing to show why it's the top scoring defense in 3A.
Yeah, and you can see there's just disruptions across the board. Rayner has to slow down a little bit as he's going to get the handoff, not able to get outside the defender there. And all of that adds up quickly, and now Grantsville's in 3rd and long, in their own territory, kind of deep in their own territory. And so you really want to be sure that you secure the ball, don't make any big mistakes down here.
Well, and boy, right now it's like, how aggressive do you want to be, knowing that 4th down's right around the corner, and it's been a toss of the coin here in this first half.
And that has to be in the back of the minds of some of these Grantsville players too.
Little play action. Bell looking to set up the screen. Maritzen, gain of 6 on the play. He needed 11. It will be 4th down.
Yeah, and Maritzen does a good job of getting some yardage on there. Kind of gets outside of his blockers, not able to beat the Morgan defender. Again, that's always a sign of a well-coached team when one defender can make that kind of tackle. And now it's anyone's guess how this one's going to go for Grantsville.
Snap much cleaner, blocked well, kicks away. Much better execution is this one off the turf, and it's going to be stopped here. I think they're saying that there was a fair catch indication. I missed it.
I missed it as well, and so I'm not sure if that was one of those things where he was trying to clear away defenders and gave the motion that maybe it was like that. But you can see the Grantsville making the adjustment. They're kicking away from the pressure that was coming from that right side.
Kicker's left side,
Kicker's left side. I'm not good with directions anyways. It's hard enough when I'm trying to think on the what side of the field.
So 1st and 10 here, Trojans. And boy, a chance to really distance themselves here, Brian.
And if you're Morgan, this is an opportunity to really draw some clock and kind of wear down that Grantsville defense.
They've been on the field a lot tonight. And now we've got whistles And a timeout going to be taken by Morgan. Boy, confusion there.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the set was. Either they weren't able to get the signal in, or sometimes when you do that check with me style where it's you get set up and then you look to the sideline to figure out the call, there can be some miscommunication there. You know, I talked about wanting to take some time off. I meant off the clock, not just in general. So we'll see what Morgan comes back with here as they're looking to pull ahead even more.
I want to take a moment just thank Morgan High School. They've been great hosts tonight. Cade Morrell, the AD here, made sure we were taken care of. Talked with him early today. He was here to help us get set up. And, of course, Morgan does such a great job on all of their streams. And, look, Morgan Sports Network, very considerate of having us, having us be right next to them. They do such a great job every week. But with how big this game was, we wanted to be here as well. But appreciate their partnership and collaboration as well, and it's been a fantastic night here at Morgan.
Yeah, and I leapt at the opportunity to come up here. I've been wanting to see both of these teams play.
Despain stepping up, gets that away, and boy, nice gain there. Again, it feels like Morgan's just kind of navigating through traffic here, Brian.
Yeah, great job. I think it was number 8 there. Again, black on black or dark on dark numbers, a little hard for us to read, so asking for some patience out there. But nevertheless, great job by Despain navigating the pressure, able to get the completion and the first down.
They'll go to the ground, and boy, big hole up the middle, and it's another big gain for Morgan, this time a gain of 17.
Yeah, you see the change of pace there with the back as it looks like, I'll say number 7, Jimmy Savage. And that's a good thing for Morgan if you have multiple backs that you can run back there. It looks like we got,
Yeah, Despain, that one had to eat it.
That darn turf monster has gotten a lot of tackles tonight.
Yes, it has.
But, this is the hardest part about a lot of these sets that high school programs want to run out of the pistol is you have to get that mesh right every single time with a quarterback, and it's not easy. When you see it on Saturday and Sundays, it looks easy, but it takes a lot of time, effort, and repetition.
The other thing for me is the pace, the tempo that Morgan's playing at. It feels quick for quick. I mean, it is like moving.
Yeah, I came from last week watching Stansbury play, and this feels like Stallions level speed, and that's
saying something. Despain rolling to his left, not a lot there. Heady play there to hold that ball out in front, try to get as much as he could.
Reach the ball forward. You can tell that this is a kid that watches a lot of football, pays a lot of attention, smart decision maker. Really impressive for him. I believe he's still just a junior, if I'm not mistaken. If I am
senior,
not yet. Okay, so there you go. Been in this situation before. I believe he started for a couple years as well.
Yep. Yeah, it was a starter last year. I think he started as a sophomore, if I recall correctly. Very experienced in this offense, and you talk, with his coach, said, look, his development has been great. He's very comfortable in the offense. He's looked that way here tonight.
They ask him to do a lot, and he does a great job.
3rd and long. Despain looking for that deep comeback, that overthrown, incomplete, will bring up 4th down.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication, it looks like, as the wide receiver's coming up field, and he's starting to go a little bit back shoulder with it, and that's one of those things that just, when you're on the run like that, and a great job by Grantsville defense to get that pressure on the rollout, kind of force his hand a little bit.
So it'll bring up 4th and long here. The Trojans coming out to punt. Chance to pin Grantsville deep. Rayner standing in his own 10. That snap high. The ball still on the turf and finally able to be punted away, but this is going to be a short kick and down at the 37. Goodness, Brian. The special team tonight has just been a challenge on both sides.
Yeah, it's I talk about it. Special teams are special for a reason, but you've got to make them special. And right now it seems like the impact has been more for the negative than the positive, as Morgan's able to get away with one there, and I don't know how he was able to get that punt off in the first place. It could have been catastrophic. Now here, it's just you've really put Grantsville in good position to try and get some yards and make up some ground and some points on the scoreboard.
There was not a lot of rush on that punt, and Morgan probably fortunate because it could be much worse.
It's one of those things where the anxiety of trying to secure the ball probably got to him more than the rush.
So 1st down, Cowboys. Oh, good tackle on that far side. Nowhere to go, as I think Savage making the stop.
And you're watching that at home, you're wondering, why are you running that little pop pass? Well, there's a lot of action going on that Grantsville can use for later on, right? So Not the biggest pickup there on first down, but it's enough to get you some data so you can go back and see how Morgan's playing that. Again, there's a lot of open space on the field when Grantsville does all that, the fake actions there.
There's also a lot of built-in versatility there, right? If that edge isn't set, you've got a nice run play there for Bell. There's a lot of different looks off of that play. It's defended really well. Second down, Bell to his right, pressure coming, gets this away, and that caught. What a grab across midfield. Bell took payment for it, but he capitalized the gain of 17.
He does, and you can see the wind's knocked out of him a little bit as he kind of lands on his back, but it's a great job of securing the catch there. Just a great throw by Bell, or by Bunderson as he's rolling out there and feeling the pressure.
Yeah, I think it's Hunter Bell with the throw there. Spot on, especially with the man coming right into him. My goodness.
Hunter Bell, excuse me. I got getting numbers mixed up.
There's
left
two
and
of
right
them.
over here.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. First down. Grantsville looking for points here. Trying to get back to even as they'll go back to the ground. Just not much there. Coming up in great run support was Tate Nelson for this Trojan D.
Yeah, you can see Nelson coming up from the secondary doing a great job of playing the alley there. And it just not a lot of options here for Grantsville in the run game. And that's been something that I think all year long has really been a strength.
Yeah, you look at what they've done on the ground this year. Mortson's been one of their leading carriers, averaging 8 yards a touch. Has over 500 yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. But tonight, I mean, they've incorporated him a little bit, but he's not been the primary focus of this ground game, and it just hasn't felt like they've found their traction yet.
Yeah, and Morgan's done a great job of game tackling. They know how strong a runner Morrison is.
5 wide here for Grantsville on second down as we approach the midway point. Bell, pressure coming. Lost one down the field, wide open, and this caught inside the 20. First and down, Grantsville in the red zone.
Wow, what a great catch and throw there by Grantsville. A huge conversion and a big play to get them into scoring position. Just lofted that ball up there, let his wide receiver go get it, and great job to secure the catch.
Parker Williams knows he's gonna take some contact after making that catch, but goes up, secures it, and Grantsville is set up.
And Parker's done a lot so far this game to make himself stand out.
First and 10 for the Cowboys. On the ground, little cut there. Morrison able to gain about 4.
And that's really what you're going to be looking for if you're Morrison is those cutbacks on the inside zone as Grantsville's able to kind of jam everything up with Morgan. That's okay if you're an offensive line. It's not so much about getting movement in terms of opening a hole as it is getting that defense conglomerate somewhere so your back can bounce around.
My apologies. I said Morrison hasn't been the primary ball carrier. He has. I got him confused with Rayner in my mind. That's my bad. Rayner in motion there. Morrison to the left of Bell. He'll get the carry here on second down, spinning through tacklers and has it inside the 10 to the 7.
Yeah, and you can see that's really where he's at his strongest is on the downhill game where they're able to open up a hole. A little power action there as they're getting guards pulling and getting some motion. And again, the longer you're on the field as a defense, the harder it becomes to really stay stout in that running game. So if you're Grantsville here on third down, maybe you're thinking, a little bit more power in the run game to try and get that conversion.
Third and short. The bells are tolling here for this Morgan D. Power formation for the Cowboys. Coach Bird loves to run the football. Looks he'll do that on third down. He does. Morrison, right side. First down and more. Gabe through tacklers. Touchdown, Grantsville. Gabe Morrison with one of the carries of the year.
What a tremendous job by the Grantsville offensive line getting hat on hat, and then Morrison just bullying his way into the end zone, able to finish it with 6. What a phenomenal response by Grantsville, and this is one of the most fun games I've been a part of so far this year. Just love the response by the Cowboys.
They will try the point after. This kick up, this kick good. Hey, how about the response from Grantsville as they run the football down the field and cap it off with their senior Gabe Morrison. 14-13 Morgan, 4.5 to go here in our first half. A matchup of top 3 teams here in 3A has lived up to the billing as the Morgan offense will have one more drive here, Brian. See if they can get some points here.
Well, and we've seen them go quick and up-tempo. You have to think that with Despain there behind the wheel of this potent offense, they'll be able to generate something. The bigger concern I have at this point, Dane, is are we going to get a decent special teams play from Grantsville right now? It seems like it's been a crapshoot all game long.
You know, I used to be really critical of Kyle Whittingham because of his focus on special teams, but then you watch a game like this, you're like, and that's why. Because it can be such a big impact aspect of the game, and we've seen it really by both teams tonight.
Yeah, well, I grew up with Whittingham doing it. I also had Steve Coburn as my head coach at Snow College reinforcing that with me. I had no chance but to love special teams.
Touchback here on the kickoff. Morgan will start at their own 20. Brian, the Trojans have done a really nice job tonight of mixing up the pass and the run. 4.5 to go. A lot of time here. I think two timeouts for Morgan. What do you look for them to try to do here these final 4.5?
Well, I think really what you want to do is you've got 4.5 minutes, so you can still go back to that ground game early on, trying to establish it. Maybe get Despain involved a little bit. He's so good with the ball in his hands, not just throwing, but also running it.
Nick will be in pistol once again. It's been their primary formation tonight. They'll go on the ground here. Boy, look at the power. My goodness. I think of Morgan as finesse. It's not been that way tonight.
No, and they're really playing to their strengths with how they're running inside zone there. Just a great job, and love seeing that extra effort and that drive from the running back there.
And really, look, a lot of credit to the big boys up front. The offensive line doing a lot of the dirty work as they'll go back to the ground here, and I think he's going to be just a half yard short. Yes, it's going to be 3rd and short here. Nice response there by that Grantsville front.
Yeah, and a little bit of an undersized, undermanned front as well. So you love the aggression there from Grantsville to stay strong in the game. But again, doubling up inside run game back to back, it's almost always a difficulty unless there's some sort of big advantage to get big yardage off the same play.
3rd and 1 here for Morgan. Boy, everybody in the box here for the Grantsville D, and they make the stop. How about the pressure of Grantsville up front, able to tackle Salmon for a loss?
Yeah, and again, we talk about it, right? Like, if you're Morgan, you've got a great playmaker in Despain. You want to get the ball in his hands as much as possible, especially in those situations where it's 3rd down. Grantsville calling the bluff of Morgan there, able to get the huge stop.
Yeah. Hold your breath, Brian. We got a punt.
Pacing up here already. I'm
there
excited.
We go. That one good. And kicked away there from Rayner. Good decision as this trickles out of bounds. And Grantsville going to be backed up here.
Yeah, it's almost like we've come to a peace agreement where we're just gonna kick the balls and see what happens and hope for good things.
So Grantsville at their own 30. I was going to ask on the last drive, before that long pass to Parker Williams, we saw Grantsville attack vertically early. Just missed. We're talking inches. I was wondering if they'd go back to that. They did on that last drive. You got 70 yards to go here. How aggressive will Grantsville be?
Well, I think really right now you're coming off another drive where you're able to establish the run game a little bit. So you're kind of in the heads of this Morgan defense just a tad. So, yeah, be aggressive on this first play and see what you can do.
I think 2 timeouts left for Grantsville, maybe just 1. They'll start on the ground here. Morrison trying that left side. Boy, contact there early. Stood up, gain of 2 for Gabe.
Yeah, and you're just seeing a great job by the Morgan defenders. Every time they get someone one-on-one in a blocking situation, it looks like that Morgan defender's able to disrupt the run play. And we talked about it. You know, you had that early success on 1st down with the big play last series. Not quite success, but able to get that play open. Maybe you go for it here on 2nd down.
2nd and 8. Approaching 2 minutes to go here in the half. Bell will throw. Boy, they set up the little screen near side, and Morgan, good job getting pressure in there. Really disrupted the timing.
Yeah, and you can see what Grantsville's trying to do, get the ball in the hands of their playmaker, but a great job by the Morgan defense there to disrupt it. Grantsville does kind of an old-school approach to pass protection, a turn-back blocking, and that can be a little tricky at times when you have a front that's as aggressive and as strong as Morgan's.
describe turn back blocking.
Oh, it's exactly what it is, where you're turning your body back to protect a gap so that the quarterback can roll out. The hard part about it is that you're forcing your offensive lineman to choose which gap to block, and sometimes when you overload defenders, guys can slip through.
3rd and long for the Cowboys. Bell, he's got a vertical route. Top of the screen, looking deep, and it's out of bounds. The catch was made, but it was out of bounds. It'll be 4th down, and we didn't run the clock there. We were a little ahead. There's 2:02 left here in the first half.
Yeah, and a tough series there for Grantsville. You get the stop on defense, wanting to do something, convert, maybe pull ahead a little bit, not able to do it. And now, again, we're back to the same situation before, Dane, where it's anybody's guess what could happen on a punt.
Snap good, and the kick away. Taken on the run. Morgan tackled at the 45-yard line. The stop being made there by Easton Johnson.
Yeah, great job there by number 53, Easton Johnson. He's been in the mix a lot there, throughout the game, and the best possible outcome if you're Grantsville, right?
Yeah.
Like, good punt, able to get some protection. You can see that they've probably resolved some of those issues on the sideline.
1:54 to go here in the stadium. Morgan starting at their own 45. Despain stepping up. And Despain going to gain. He'll take his 6 yards.
Again, shout out to the pancake platoon there as Morgan able to get the, looked like it was Max Mueller there on the pancake, and that opened that hole for Despain, and now Morgan going up tempo. Hurry up.
2nd down. Despain, that out, caught, 1st down for the Trojans. Love that execution, Brian.
You do, and that's really what I kind of expected them to do a little bit last series. This is a really potent offense, and look, Despain has done nothing but execute well. He's great with those out routes. He knows where to go with the football. Trust your QB. Let him lead you to glory.
1st down for Morgan into Grantsville territory. Despain looking, sideline, caught at the 25-yard line. Just outside the red zone.
Yeah, it looks like back-to-back receptions there by Tate Nelson. And he's just, we talk about it. There's a lot of strong, explosive athletes on this offense. And Nelson's one we haven't really even mentioned that much, but he's been great.
Despain on 1st down. Boy, that's far side of the field. What a grab, stretching out to make the catch. There was Lincoln Gilson.
Yeah, again, one of those very long throws, tough when you can see Despain kind of loops it out there, but able to get the completion. And now Morgan up, hurry up.
Yeah, up to the line quickly. 2nd down, they'll run it, nowhere to go as this stopped on the tackle by Baylor Hall.
And realistically, that's the hard part about doing the up-tempo, right? Because you've got a set play that you're going to call almost every single time after a game like that. Grantsville able to sniff it out pretty easily. And realistically, Dane, with about 50 seconds left, you could probably slow it down a little bit if you're Morgan sitting here at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, timeout here being taken. 48 seconds to go, and Morgan, their field goal kicker, warming up. We talked a little bit earlier about Bo Johnson, multi-year starter here for Morgan. He would love an opportunity. Right now it's about a 40-yard kick. Love to get obviously closer, but a big 3rd down here for the Trojans.
And I think almost more than that with kickers is you want to make sure that he's on a hash where he's comfortable, right? So if he's a right-footed kicker, comfortable kicking from the right hash, something to consider here. Maybe even you want to call 2 plays if you're Morgan coming out of this timeout. So if you do have a run play on, well, a 3rd down, you're probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
As I talk myself out of it. But regardless, you do want to try and get some yardage here, position yourself a little bit better. But, given what Despain's done, I say go for it here. Let him cook.
Well, he's looking down the sideline, broken up. What a play made in the secondary there for Grantsville.
Yeah,
might have been Hayden Hall.
Terrific job by Hall there, and he's a guy that's gone both ways, and you love those kinds of players that can do it on both sides of the ball. And he does a great job staying right in the field of vision there. Receiver not able to go get it, and now tough situation for Morgan.
Yeah, because it is about a 40-yarder, and it looks like they are going to come out and try this field goal. As they'll mark it at 39. So a 39-yard field goal here for Morgan, trying to push this lead to 4. And we'll get a timeout first, being taken by Grantsville, as they'll try to ice them up.
Yeah, you can't take them with you, so might as well burn them here. See if you can get Bo to think about that one a little bit. You know, left-footed kicker, it looks like. So you have to like the hash and the angle. If you're Morgan, if you're Grantsville, give your guys an opportunity to talk this one out, make sure everybody's solid in what their responsibility is, and maybe try to coach up a guy a little bit extra here. Maybe you haven't been able to necessarily work through it as much in practice this week. There's a lot to prepare for with Morgan. And so you can put something a little bit more special in right here, or maybe move a player around a little bit, just that little tiny bit to try and disrupt this thing.
We have not seen a field goal unit tonight. We've seen point afters. We'll see how clean this one goes. Again, 39-yard try here for the Trojans.
And we've seen Bo kick him out of the end zone consistently all night long. You have to think he's got the leg in terms of the distance. It's just the accuracy that you're always concerned about. That and the snap and the hold and the block and everything else.
Bo Johnson, 39-yard kick, and it's blocked around the edge. And the Grantsville field goal block unit able to get the deflection, and the Cowboys will come out of the 44.
We talk about it. There's just so many things that can go right or wrong on a special teams play like that. Great job by Grantsville bringing a defender from the field side, rushes in, comes in almost untouched, it looked like, able to get hands on the ball as it's coming off the foot. Don't even get a chance to see if Bo could have gotten it there or not. And now Grantsville, with 37 seconds, has an opportunity to get into field goal position.
And they're 5 wide. They're going to be aggressive here.
Bombers, here we go.
First down, pressure coming, little out route, caught, racing for the boundary, and won't get it.
Tough
Caught
one
by
there.
Williams.
Looks like they are going to signal the first down, so we'll get the chains moving here, but great job by Grantsville to get up on it.
But they didn't stop the clock. So how can you give a first down and not stop the clock if you got to move the chains?
I'm hoping that somebody down there has realized the same thing that we have, because it looks like the Grantsville
Coach Bird is all over that sideline, right?
And rightfully so. You know, that's precious seconds.
Well, and they've got it second down.
Yeah, well, and they've got plenty of yards to where they can get a touchdown here still, Dane, like, especially with what we've seen from Bell. I don't see anything going back on the clock, though.
Second down. They'll go 5 wide again. Will the Cowboys? And now we've got a whistles. We're going to have delay here.
First time all night that I've noticed there's no play clock on the field. You're always waiting for that official to start waving his hands. I didn't see anything from him either, so I'm not going to necessarily harp on anybody from Grantsville for not recognizing it, but that's a tough loss right there.
Well, there are a couple of tough losses the last 2 plays. 5 wide. Pressure on Bell. And he's able to keep his feet. Looking to get out of bounds to stop the clock. He will with 14 seconds left.
Well, not only his feet, but also a few appendages there as the Morgan defense was grabbing everything they could to try and bring him down. I think the big thing there is that pretty much rules out any kind of drive down the field to get a touchdown here.
Yeah.
You've got to get some major chunks in terms of yardage. And really at this point, if you're Grantsville, you're kind of considering, okay, let's take one more and then maybe just put the knee down. Well, I guess you can't because it'll be fourth down. But, you know, make sure whatever it is you do here, you do the smart thing, because a turnover could be absolutely catastrophic.
My thing, I'm like, look, just run a bunch of verts and just throw it. And if they pick it off, it's a punt, right?
Yeah. The old arm punt. It's never a bad strategy. Wow. How the diamond formation to the far side of the field.
I love it. A little screen here. This will keep the clock running. That ball comes out. And Morgan has it or they had it. And now we'll get whistles with 4 seconds left on the clock as a late flag is in the Grantsville bench.
Yeah, it looked like there might have been some, I won't say scuffling, but some late action after the whistle. And that could possibly be a personal foul. You can see Coach Bird out there encouraging the officials to make the call in his favor. Maybe also trying to find out who the offender was.
Yeah, there's 4 seconds left here. And I like the little screen call there.
I do too, and I believe that Grantsville still had a timeout. The biggest problem there is that once you get that advance, secure the ball.
Yeah.
You're not going to score a touchdown from 40 yards out on a screenplay, especially with Morgan being back like that. So just get down, secure the ball, live to play another day.
Well, and here's the biggest thing. If there's 4 seconds left and you got 4th down, look, run around for 2 seconds, chuck the ball, and it's halftime, right?
Yeah. So it's just a lot of calamity and a lot of extra effort, kind of needless.
So we wait the call here. I mean, there is a penalty flag literally 5 yards into the bench, right? I'm not misseeing that.
No.
Okay,
And again,
right.
there was so much action going on. I saw one defender go down.
Ooh, it's a personal foul on Morgan. Boy, so that maybe changes things here, Brian.
Well, it does. I think if you're Morgan, this pretty much secures the fact that you just want to get out of here. You've got the lead. I don't know. Well, wow.
You can throw this to the end zone. You're 30 yards out.
So I'd forgotten that Grantsville had actually recovered that ball. So this gives you an opportunity. It looks like they're going to try and kick it.
Wow. Yeah, how about a 48-yard field goal here for Grantsville to try to take the lead? Oh, the official racing to get in position. Now we got a timeout here by Morgan. Man, there's so much going on. This is what makes this so fun, right? And I feel bad for that official. He just had to run a wind sprint. His 40 time was pretty good there.
Well, it's a good thing it's him and not me, because I would have passed out about the end zone marker there where he was heading for. But again, like, so much happening in that and so much thinking on the fly.
Yeah.
You have to wonder if maybe Morgan's calling timeout here to force Grantsville to think through their decision a little bit too. That's a big kick for anyone, not just a high school kicker. And we saw, what happened last time with Morgan. If you get the block here and you're able to advance it a little bit, you can advance it to the high school level.
Well, and there's only 4 seconds, right? But I'm
still,
kind of like, I don't know, do you like your options with a toss to the end zone, maybe get lucky, but they're going to try the field goal here. All this ball has to do is clear the goal line, and the half's essentially here. 4 seconds to go, 48-yard field goal try here for Joe Wright.
See Morgan not even trying to block it necessarily.
The kick is up, and it is wide to the left. No good.
Wide left and well short of the crossbar there. Good job, good effort. Honestly, Dane, for you and I, that's probably the best result because we're not trying to navigate any kind of calamities or craziness.
14-13, Morgan leading Grantsville at home at the break. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, halftime on KSLSports.com. Hey, welcome back to Morgan High School. KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. We got a doozy in 3A. Morgan leading Grantsville at the break, 14-13. Dane Stewart, Brian Brown with you. Brian, heck of a first half. And we'll get into second half adjustments, those sort of a thing. But what's maybe the one thing that stood out to you through half?
Just the overall competitiveness on both sides. Both teams having opportunities to make progress, to take shots and connect, and the response from each team has been so impressive. We saw Grantsville encounter some early adversity, fought back, stayed consistent, stayed with what brought them here, and that's a big part about great football teams. The great football teams stay with what they do best, and you saw that as Grantsville was able to get that late touchdown with Morrison in the end zone through that run game, and I'm expecting a lot more of that competitiveness here in the second half.
So Grantsville going to start with the ball here to start the second half. Had some special teams miscues, set up some short fields, but the offense really kind of found some balance, found some rhythm. What do you look for Grantsville to do here in half number 2?
Yeah, I think you're back to establishing the run again. You want to try and keep pounding at that Morgan defense and be consistent in how you're moving the football.
Looking down the field, this incomplete was intended for Williams, and that's a very similar setup to that play we saw late in the first half. And you mentioned this is about later, and there's the first look.
Yeah, and you can see they're trying to test those Morgan cornerbacks out there who are a little bit on an island, and you like seeing that early on, seeing how guys respond. And so much of this game, and why I love football, is because it's an infinite chess match, right? Every move leads to another move or another opportunity for multiple moves. And so you see them continuing to build that data set.
Second down, and boy, bit of a broken play there. And the throwback, and they do have, they're going to call intentional grounding here. You also have play down the field, but this is interesting because you had the play action with Morrison, and he was kind of in the middle, and that's where the ball was thrown. But the penalty flag here seems to be for intentional grounding, and they're going to wave it off.
And I know that Morgan was excited about that one, but Morrison was right there.
He's right there
in the patch, and so it's not intentional grounding. It's behind the line of scrimmage, so you don't have any issues with downfield. It's a perfectly legal play, and really a smart play by Bell there.
Yeah, it was broken from the start, right?
Yeah.
Morrison goes to the left. Has that read to the right. It was not going to end well.
Yeah, and it looked like everybody was kind of on a different page, which, look, who hasn't been in that set before?
Yeah. Hey, we're back to Diamond here, the bottom of the screen this time for Hunter Bell. On third down, they'll run that same screen. Look at the blow up. Oh, my goodness. How about the defense there is, hey, we've seen this before. This is going nowhere. Love the pressure there being put on by Rhett Nye.
Yeah, and again, that's a sign of a well-coached football team here in Morgan. You saw them have some effectiveness against it earlier. Coach your guys up on the sideline. Tell them how to fight against it. Sometimes when you're seeing it in person against the team that you're actually playing, it's totally different than what the scout teams put together.
Here comes the punt. This one away cleanly. Fielded. And across midfield to the 45 before being stood up. Good field position here for Morgan. All right, so first drive of the second half for the Trojans. And Brian, I'm going to ask you the same question. What do you look for Morgan to do here in half number two? Maybe the same, maybe differently.
Well, Morgan had a lot of success with a variety of things, but the biggest thing I want to see is put the ball in your quarterback's hands. This Spain was so good all first quarter, and they kind of got away from it a little bit. They're probably going to go back to the run game, try and establish something on the ground, try and wear down this Grantsville defense, but let your QB make some decisions here.
They'll start on the ground. Nice hole right up the middle. How about the run for Lish as he's picked up 18 this time. I was going to say 17, but they'll give him 18 on the carry.
Yeah, and you love when you can get an explosive play off the run game, especially on just a little inside handoff there. It was a great job following his blockers, finding the crease. You see Rayner coming over the top, trying to give him a little extra love, after the big game, but just not enough in time.
Going to try to stretch it here. Lish around the corner, down near the 20-yard line. And, boy, we got a hurt Trojan here. Trying to lay a big block and back to his feet, but, boy, it looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's big number 53 there trying to get back to the huddle. As you see Cooper McGivern, the offensive lineman, limping one off, but it looks like he's going to have to come off the field.
Yeah.
That's a big deal because he's the starting center there for Morgan. And if you're Grantsville at this point in time, you want to attack the center, right? That's immediately where you're going.
Well, it looked like they moved some guys around, as it is Luke Olson. We talked about him in the first half. His younger brothers, the young man with muscular dystrophy, they're honoring tonight with the green bands. He has come on here as quick throw. And, what a ball. Good throw, and it's first and goal for the Trojans, as on the reception for Morgan was Gavin Turner.
Yeah, and it's you shuffle some guys up front, but it doesn't matter because the guy behind him is so good at what he does. He knows where he's going with the ball, gets it out there, throws a strike, and gets Morgan here into immediate scoring territory.
And Turner actually ran into his own man. Otherwise, he might have had a chance to score. First and goal.
A little heavy set here.
Yeah. Will hand off. Up the middle, Salmon able to pick up 5.
And you can see how much movement that Morgan front's able to get. Salmon just kind of trundling downfield, trying to get in the end zone there. Great job by the Grantsville defense to keep him out of it, but they're really threatening now.
Second and goal. They'll stay on the ground, and they're in the end zone. Touchdown, Morgan. Lish with the touchdown run.
And you see Tyler Buckway sliding over to the center position, and it's business as usual for Morgan as they just get those defenders from Grantsville turned, allow Salmon plenty of room to get downhill and get into the end zone. Great job by Morgan to march down the field behind the heady play of Despain and the hard running of Salmon there.
Morgan going to try the point after, trying to push this lead back to 8. Kick is up, and it's good. 21-13, the Trojans leading the Cowboys here at home. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann Associates and brought to you by Western Governors University. We mentioned we wanted to thank Morgan for their great hospitality here, and boy, you know, they have been hospitable, but no one brings out the hospitality like Morgan. We talked about Cade Morrell, everything he did to help get us set up. Brought us a gift basket, food and everything. Like, Morgan, A+, man.
Yeah.
A+. Thank you so much.
You know, Dane, you and I are not exactly similar in size, but I think we all both have the same loves. If you bring us food,
yeah,
you're endearing yourselves into our hearts forever.
It is there you go.
And swag
there
and
you
all
go.
kinds of
I
great
mean, it's
stuff. Yeah.
all right. Bar's been set, right?
Yeah. Who's up next?
Cade, thank you. Morgan High School, thank you. They've been fantastic. And
fantastic environment, gorgeous scenery up here.
Yes.
And a very impactful crowd, and you can see the community came out to support in full force.
It's been a great night. We had a parent late in the first half who was trying to get the other parents up. Like, it's just it just means more, to borrow a phrase. You go to some of these communities, and high school football, it's great in the Valley, but man, get out. And there are some communities that just do it right, and Morgan's one of them.
Yeah.
That ball fumbled. Grantsville back on it at the 14, but they're going to have a way to go here, Brian.
Yeah, and you see Rayner trying to make something happen there. Just a little bit too much, able to recover his own fumble, but you're putting yourself in a little bit of a hole, well, a pretty substantial hole if you're Grantsville. And you can hear the impact of the crowd screaming, all that kind of stuff. It is so important for these kids to feel that love and that support. You know, even as they presented you with a gift basket, we heard the student section chanting KSL, KSL. And it's one of the best parts about coming out and seeing these games and really allowing these communities to showcase what they have to offer.
Grantsville starting deep in their own territory. Bell looking to hand off. Nice hole up the right side, but boy, that Morgan defense, it has been impressive today. And what looked to be a big gap taken away quickly there. Jet Salmon and others in on the tackle.
Yeah, and you see the way that they just rushed the football. You know, Grantsville was almost in trouble from the jump, able to sneak the trap block or the cross block over there at the last second that allowed them to get some positive yards. But this Morgan defense has been so consistent in flooding to the football, and they've suffocated this Grantsville running game for the most part.
Second down. Bell rolling to his left. Boy, right into pressure. Morgan once again with a sack.
Yeah, you see this Morgan defensive line has started to figure out that gap blocking scheme from Grantsville. You see number 77 just sneaks past the center. It's so hard to go head on head when you've got a hand between your legs and trying to secure that snap. And they gave up big time yards. You're Grantsville here. Now you're in really precarious territory. You don't want to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
But also you want to try and get something positive from your playmaker, Bell.
And it was the senior defensive end, Sean Moore, that really got in there and turned Bell back inside. Relentless pressure up front. Third down. To the ground here are the Cowboys, and nowhere to go. Moore in on the tackle with a plethora of Trojans as they Trojan horse the Cowboys on the drive.
Yeah, and you can just see the aggressiveness that the defensive line is playing with right now. A lot of confidence, a lot of aggression. And for Grantsville, when you're going back to the sideline now, you've got to try and get some guys settled down, try and get some pad level down, try and get some better angles for your guys, because Morgan's really grabbing hold of the momentum here in the second half.
Punting from the end zone, this kick away, this caught on a bit of a retreat from midfield. Turning through would-be tacklers. Good field position again here for the Trojans as it was Peyton Brooks with the return to the 33.
You're seeing Grantsville's had some pretty good coverage, but Morgan doing a good job of getting back and allowing your kick returner to get some space to create something with. And now, all of a sudden, if you're Morgan, you're in a great position to go ahead by 2 touchdowns.
We talked about field position battle early on in this game. Right now, Morgan is just killing on the field position battle.
100%. We talked earlier, in the first half, for those who were tuning in late, special teams were a huge issue, and it seems like Morgan has done a much better job of securing and even improving on those special teams as the game's gone on.
Great field position for the Trojans. They'll have first down on this possession at the Grantsville 33. Cowboys showing pressure. Despain looking, has time. Look at the time for Despain, still surveying, and he'll just throw this incomplete. Good decision there by the senior quarterback.
Yeah, it was, and he had great protection up front. It looked like it was maybe Cole Keel that just inducted another member in the pancake platoon. You don't often see that with pass protection, but he does a great job staying locked in on his guy, and as the defender goes up, drives him into the ground. It's elite offensive play, allows Despain to get outside. Not a completion, but you're starting to see that separation a little bit with Morgan here.
Yep. On second down, to the ground, and not much there as they give it to Savage, and a Savage tackle being made up front there by Dagan Heron, the junior.
And again, this Grantsville team is so tough and resilient. They are undersized. There's no doubt about it, but they seem to bounce back every single time, and you love to see that kind of grit and resilience from your defense.
Big third down here, maybe bigger for this Grantsville defense.
100%. And again, we talked about it. Field position is such a critical thing. Now, if you're Morgan, it's kind of in no man's territory here if you don't convert on third down.
Pistol formation here for Despain. Has a man over the middle, caught, and a first down for the Trojans to the 21-yard line as it's the tight end, Josh Criddle, with the reception.
Well, Grantsville maybe smelling a little something in water there, sends the blitz, but Despain, cool as the other side of the pillow, delivers the strike downfield, converts, and they're up and ready to go here with tempo.
First down to the ground. Not much there for Salmon. Ran into the big man up front.
Again, whatever hole was open closed quickly, and that Grantsville front starting to adjust to the tempo a little bit here.
Bring up second down. One of the things I was curious to see, Morgan has not been in a lot of close games late. A lot of blowouts. Will they have the resiliency, the stamina? Boy, the offense here saying, yes, we do. Little toss. That one couldn't be handled, and it will go out of play. Costly error there for the Trojans.
Yeah, and again, Grantsville is one of those teams where if you give them an opportunity to believe in themselves, they're going to fight through the very, very bitter end. And they clearly believe that they belong on this field. You're seeing they're still in every play. They're giving up some big ones here and there, but right now, causing some havoc there on the pitch play as you see that. I believe it was a safety come up, kind of disrupt some things. And so, again, we're seeing a great game of two football teams and also two elite coaching staff in the state.
It'll be third and long. Got to get to the 11 to move the chain. Screen set up. Delayed screen at that. And boy, getting in front of his blockers. Maybe it could have been a lot more if there was a little more patience there. Grantsville able to make the stop.
If you're Grantsville, you're counting your blessings. You can name them one by one, as it was the offensive lineman not able to get out in front of the ball carrier there. But you see, again, Morgan anticipating the blitz coming, inviting him back in. Despain patient, delivers the strike, and as soon as he caught it, I thought he was gone. There's a great job by that Grantsville defense to close. And again, if you're Morgan now, that's a missed opportunity.
35-yard field goal here for the Trojans, looking to add to their lead, make it two possession. Kick is up, and it's good. 35-yard field goal, and it's 24-13.
Johnson for the field goal.
Well, Bo knows go on that one as he's good from 35 yards, and you see the lights flickering here at Morgan. That's a good good capitalization there on what was kind of an unbalanced drive for Morgan there. And if you're Grantsville now, as things were so close, looks like we've got a stoppage here.
They never stopped the clock. It's still running. So they've got to put some more time here. They didn't stop it after that field goal was made.
I'm all for loving your community name. And so, if maybe you can sneak a few seconds off that clock with
lead.
Yeah. That's the official's job. They got to keep an eye on that kind of thing.
Right.
So, but, the bigger story here is now Morgan going ahead 2 scores.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we talked about that missed PAT in the first quarter and how it could play big. Now, all of a sudden, where it's an 11-point lead, this is a big situation for Grantsville.
Huge. The offense has to find a way to capitalize. And, we talk about this Morgan defense, the top scoring defense in the 3A North. The most points they've allowed in a game this year, 14. And I think that was week 1. So they are very accustomed. That's how good this defense has been. They do not give up a lot. And so the Grantsville's got a tall task. We talk about some of the kind of trends going against them, but they're going up against the best defense as well.
They are, and you can see why they've been at the top of the standings and the statistics there. The way they're coached, the way they fly around, they get to the ball. They're well coached in terms of their eye discipline and where their aiming point is on the tackles, all that stuff that we talk about that you see even some college teams can't execute. And it's one reason why I've been so impressed that we've seen so many games how great the level of football is in this state. But if you're Grantsville here, you've got to get something rolling because that momentum has been continuing to go in the Morgan direction.
This kick returnable, Rayner from the goal line, turning upfield, and Rayner tackled at the 23. Maybe a touchdown-saving tackle there.
Yeah, and he's just such a fun kid to watch. As there's a little bit of extracurriculars.
Skirmish afterwards.
I don't have any issues with that kind of stuff. This is football. We're about competing to the whistle and to the the echo of the whistle. And that's what you see from Rayner, right? That's a kid that loves to compete. He's right there at the goal line, brings it out anyway, makes that cut, gets him up to the 24-yard line. A little extra breathing room, right? Yeah. But you love seeing those kids who have that confidence that they believe they can make something big happen.
Kids were just practicing leverage there after the play. That's all. Yeah. Just practicing leverage.
Look, wrestling season's around the corner.
Right.
We're working a little move or two. It's fine.
First down for Grantsville. Drive starting at their own 25. Motion there from Rayner. On the ground, trying that middle. And look, this Morgan D, they've really started to take away that run game.
They have, and I think it's a little bit of a mentality thing now as that defensive line's kind of starting to own Grantsville. And I don't mean that in an insulting fashion, but just they're playing with the edge. They're playing with the confidence right now, and that's why momentum is such a huge part about football. So, Grantsville, what do you do to counter? Do you try to work the angles on the outside a little bit? Do you try to get Rayner involved in the run game? What do you do to try and counteract that?
Again, Rayner in motion. They're going to try the ground game again here. Morrison stood up. He'll keep the legs moving for a gain of 2. But, boy, Brian, it feels like with the battle in the trenches right now, there's not a lot of time for Bell. You can't get the ground game going. You really need to establish that line of scrimmage if you're going to be able to move the football consistently here.
Yeah, and it's just, you're seeing them get a yard or 2 running that same play, trying to get anything to where Bell can get a read or they can get some kind of advantage here, and it's just not happening. And so you're in a tough spot here, 3rd and 6, where you really need your playmakers to step up. Maybe even a little razzle-dazzle at this point. Hard to say.
It's 3rd and long. They've got to get to the 34-yard line for a first down. Bell double clutching, looking up the field, and incomplete. Double coverage there, able to break it up.
That's a tough pass. You're throwing all the way across the field and deep, trying to get a receiver who's already double covered, just hoping for a jump ball. And again, a tough series for this Grantsville offense. We've seen them be so potent this year, stalling out a little bit here as that Morgan defense really tightens up.
4th down, another punt here for Grantsville. We talk about that Morgan D. They're flexing their muscle. Oh, nearly blocked again. Man, how about the pressure that Morgan's able to get on special teams? That's Quentin Farley on the pressure there. Is another return coming back near side. Big return up the middle. and just lost his footing, but once again after the return, Morgan set up at the Grantsville 30.
You can see it again, number 16 there, Peyton Brooks. He's done a good job of not just securing the catch, but also getting a few yards. And starting to see that Grantsville team slip out of the coaching and everything like that. A few slips here, trying to tackle him, able to get Morgan back in really excellent field position.
The other thing is just Morgan keeps being set up on the plus side of the 50. It's short fields. Trojans will run on first down. How about the little hesitation there by Lish? Does a nice job to gain yardage.
Yeah, and shout out to Josh Criddle there, the H for Morgan. He's done a lot of different things today. Haven't said his name a ton. He did a great job of setting the edge there, allowing the back to get outside, and it's those 5-yard chunks on first down that really hurt as much as anything.
Yeah, you kind of wonder, is Morgan maybe go for the ball game here, look for something big. They've got it. Down the middle of the field. Touchdown, Trojans. What a throw from Nick Despain to Gavin Turner.
I'm just sitting here grinning from ear to ear, Dane. You watch Despain do what he does best. Jack Despain in the pocket, sees his receiver, fires the dart down there, and it is nothing but a party in the end zone for Morgan. Get those lights flashing as the Trojans pull ahead on the strike from Despain.
What a throw. It kind of had that feel like it was set up for a big play, and it was. Morgan in control as the point after. Good. 31-13, the Trojans protecting the field at Morgan High against their rival, the Cowboys. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann and Associates.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of VU.
Welcome back, 31-13. It's all Morgan. And, man, what a second half. We have not had a play run on the south end of the field here in the third quarter.
Right, and you're seeing that momentum just getting overwhelming and tough for Grantsville to overcome. You can only take so many body blows, Dane, before you start to droop, and you're seeing that Morgan just continually throwing those punches. This is a resilient, tough football team. This is a culture that has been built over years, and so there are expectations. You don't just come out here and dominate if you're, not up for it. Looks like we've got a couple of flags here, one on the far side of the field, so it'll be interesting to see as Rayner slips trying to secure that catch. And it is getting colder, so you're going to see a lot more of that too.
And Morgan petitioning for that ball to be at the 1, saying that should be down. I thought his knee came down on the goal line, which would mean it's a touchdown.
Yeah, and he's got his foot in the end zone as he's catching that anyways, so it's one of those, we're seeing the officials.
It's a discretion thing.
Yeah.
They say the football, but let's be honest. We've got an official here to our left. He appreciates that comment.
I'm not sure there was an official in place to see it there clearly as well. More curious about what this penalty is going to be.
It was one of the things, we'll wait for that call, but talking with Coach Barlow, I said, look, what's been the mood in the program this week? Is this a revenge game? Are you guys motivated? He's like, no, it's not a revenge game. He's like, we are trying to learn from that and figure out how we can be better. And when you look at how this played out, they have been better tonight.
They have, and you've seen a few mistakes on both sides. But what's been the difference is Morgan's ability to capitalize on mistakes here in the second half. And again, another big mistake for Grantsville as the holding penalty backs them up to the 10-yard line. And really, you have to do something big here if you're Grantsville.
First down, and boy, starting deep in their own territory. They try that ground game once again. Gain of about 4 on the carry for Moritzen.
And you can see Moritzen just normally able to break so many of those tackles and get some yardage, just not able to do anything as those tough, strong Morgan defenders really able to lock him up. And better yardage here on first down. You're in 2nd and 7, so a little bit more than 2nd and Brown Bear. I'll get over it. But if you're Grantsville, this is a critical play.
Sean Moore in on the stop. He's had a monster of a second half today. Morrison going to try the edge, wrapped up Boy, that's one where if you can hold that block, you got a great lane there, but able to get off it and make the tackle.
And again, that's all coaching, right? Teaching guys how to get off of blocks, working those one-on-ones, especially if you're doing your tackling circuits, and being confident as a defender that you can do that at the point of attack. And we've seen it all game long. You know, Morrison, usually when he turns that corner, it's gone down the field, and he's only able to get 2 or 3 yards on that. Now, 3rd and 5, that's manageable if you're Grantsville, right? And then, you know, with Bell's ability, both with his legs and his arm, you have a lot of options here.
5 wide here on 3rd down. Grantsville needing something to try to get some momentum going. And that incomplete. Boy, they were looking there for Parker Williams, and his route kind of got interrupted.
Yeah, and it's a hard situation because the ball wasn't catchable, right? But that's an awful lot of contact for an offensive player downfield. Regardless, now it's Grantsville's possibility to try and flip this field somehow. But again, with the problems they've had with punts and everything else, this is a really risky situation.
This kick angled. How about the returns in this second half? This one taking a Grantsville bounce. Slips through one tackle, trying to get across the 50, and does. Come on, Brian, got to keep streaks going, huh?
I know. I'm here stunned because you had him dead to rights here, and finally flipped the field, right? And just he does such a great job of slipping out of the tackles, and you have to give kids their due when they do stuff like that. It's just really impressive work by Peyton Brooks today. Yeah. In the return game, you know, and he is a special player having an impact on special teams.
So Morgan once again will start in Grantsville territory. Despain. That ball overthrown was looking the way of Lincoln Gilson. The sophomore couldn't track that down.
Now, a little surprised Morgan comes out throwing the ball there. You're up 2 scores. You really just want to secure the football. You don't want to open up the opportunity. No, that's a safe throw. It's to the sideline, right, where only your receiver can get it. But if you're Morgan, the biggest thing is do not turn the ball over here. Secure it. Give it to your running backs. Let that big offensive line lean on this Grantsville defense.
They'll go to that ground game and tripped up. And that time Salmon just looks back, and both he and Despain are kind of like, dang it.
Yeah, it's almost like one of those things where they know there's a pothole or something on that part of the field, right? They kind of give that non-communicative look of just nonverbal, I should say, look. And that's a big loss for Morgan, and we talked about now they're back across the 50-yard line.
They've converted 3rd and longs in this 3rd quarter. They have another one here on 3rd and 14.
Grantsville showing a major pressure look there.
Looks like maybe I thought Despain was maybe signaling timeout. Nay. Now we'll get it. Timeout.
You have to wonder if maybe they saw the same thing that I did, where you had multiple guys in a pressure look for Grantsville to that wide field side. Maybe you're looking to get the swing pass or whatever it was. Safe call the timeout. You're up 2 scores at this point in time, right? Better to live to play for the next play.
Timeout, Morgan. We'll have 3rd down when we come back.
Salt Lake Running Company is inspiring our community to move with purpose, embrace adventure, and consciously connect to their bodies. Exercise is essential, now more than ever. Take control of the chaos and make time for you. From the gym to the trail, SLRC can help you find the focus to define your finish line. Visit one of our 5 locations along the Wasatch Front or shop online at slrc.com.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Welcome back. 3rd and long. Despain. Rolling. Come back right. Boy, I think he's short of the sticks there, Brian. It's a heck of a gain, but I think it's a half-yard shy.
Yeah, it looks like from the spot they're going to put it right there at the 40-yard line. I think Morgan's just going to get up and go for it, which not a bad call on their part.
And they
maybe second-guessing it here.
Well, and they stopped the clock here.
Boy,
there's 15 seconds here in the quarter. And
still not going.
4th down. They've got to run a play because the clock's still not running. Despain on the keeper, pushed ahead by that offensive line.
Yeah, I don't want to call it home cooking, Dane, but just, some creative clock work there on the part of Morgan. But again, like able to get the conversion. They were up, ready to go, knew what they wanted to do if it was going to be 4th and short. And that's a big, big step in towards, getting them to secure this game.
I'd probably have a little more of an opinion if it was like of meaning, but in an 18-point game, it's kind of, eh.
Yeah, well, and as I'm rethinking, I think maybe the defender had gotten out of bounds. Maybe that's why the clock was stopped. Hard to say. Yeah, you get so excited when you're trying to spot the ball.
Yeah.
It's part of why we kind of forget how hard it is for these officials to do the job sometimes. They're looking for so many different things.
Through 3, Morgan feeling good here at home. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Welcome back. Start of the 4th quarter. Morgan has a first down, and this ball incomplete. I think he was trying to target Turner.
Oh, one of the rare miscues we've seen from Jack Despain. He pats his chest a little bit, saying, my bad. Kind of knows that he had something there, overthrew it a little bit. But again, 12 minutes left in this game, Dane. And if you're Morgan, really, possession is your friend. Stay to the ground, right? You've seen good progress with your run game. Keep after it.
Second down. Well, here you go. Little option play. Despain on the keep. Able to spin ahead and pick up a couple as Connor Horrocks in on the stop. Gain of 3.
Like if they're giving you 4 downs and you can get 4 yards on every down, take it. Right?
Yeah, that's a win.
And again, Despain, you trust him as much as you trust anybody out there. He has the ball on 90% of the plays, and he's done a great job with it tonight.
3rd down. Boy, look at the press coverage here by Grantsville. Expecting pass, and they beat it.
Wow, what a great play. Great pass, great catch. You see Grantsville selling out on that one. Up in the face of the quarterback, he's able to deliver the ball. See the Grantsville defender all over the wide receiver trying to dislodge it. Able to convert there for Morgan. That's a huge, huge first down for the Trojans.
Gavin Turner on the reception for Morgan. First down to the ground. Bouncing through Lish ahead for a gain of 4.
And you're seeing again Morgan running a lot of misdirection in the backfield, freezing those Grantsville defenders for just a minute, allowing them to get 5 yards. At this point in time, just keep marching. Stay with the run game. Let your big guys just lean on those Grantsville defenders, tire them out even more.
Second down. There it is, Brian Lish, left side. Lish around traffic. And he's down at the 1. Big run by Lish, first and goal, Morgan.
Well, Dan, we don't root for anyone here. We just want to see a good game. But I also love seeing good plays. And you watch him once, twice, almost bounces outside for the 3rd time for the touchdown. Great job by opening a hole for the offensive line. Also, great job by Lish reading his blocks and getting to the outside, putting Morgan here in immediate scoring territory.
Give it to Gunner again, right? Let him finish this thing off.
Yeah, let that man eat. He's earned it.
Gunner, end zone. Touchdown, Morgan. Gunner Lish from 1 yard out.
Great job by Lish. Follow with the blockers. A little bit of an outside zone look. We see again Criddle securing the outside. Those big guys up front for Morgan. Hat on hat. And Lish puts the exclamation point as he drives the defender into the end zone.
Man, what a second half. This was 14-13 at the break. And it's about to be a 24-0 run put on by the Trojans here in the second half.
Yeah, it's been an impressive clinic here in the second half by Morgan. Just ball control, security, stout defense, everything that they've done all year to get them to this point, and you're seeing Grantsville being disrupted a little bit. We thought they had some momentum going into halftime, and they'd come out and just not been able to do anything. Again, that stout, just almost suffocating Morgan defense has really grounded that Cowboy attack.
It's pretty phenomenal when you look at this Morgan program. They've made it to state championships in 4 out of the last 5 years. They've only won 1 of those. Lost last year to Grantsville. This is a program very accustomed to winning, and there's a confidence that comes with that, and it just feels like tonight it's been, this is Morgan, this is what we do.
Well, this is their opportunity to show out, right? It's not a lot of times that KSL Rewind comes to town with the game of the week being Morgan at Grantsville, and so that had to have a little extra advantage to them, right? But this is a program that, for people who know, they respect Morgan and what's been done here.
Look, the reality is they know that Brian Brown's coming, and you got to win the trenches when Brown is in the house, and Morgan got the message.
Well, listen, they've done a great job of enlisting a lot of members into the pancake platoon tonight. I'm sorry I don't have a whole box of cookies to hand out to that Morgan offensive line, but I guarantee you this much, Dane, I'm going to be back one of these days to hand out some congratulatory pancakes to that big, beefy offensive line.
We'll have to see what we can do. We'll talk about that. Hey, look, want to remind you, if you like high school action, make sure to check out KSLSports.com. We've got streams every week. We've got top 5 videos. We've got picks videos. We have recaps. I mean, if there's anything you want around high school coverage, KSLSports.com is your home. And look, we might have a little something special for Morgan next week. So if you're a Morgan fan watching this game, make sure to check out KSLSports.com this next week and get a chance to maybe see some coverage of Morgan that you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better tease out there than what Dane's just given you all. So tune in. Obviously, it'll help you forget the offsides penalty that Morgan had, as they're going to back this one up and have to re-kick it. But this is one of those programs and one of those communities that deserves that special attention. And we talked about it earlier. We love covering this state because there's so many great stories.
And maybe we'll have to see if we can pay off those pancakes at that time.
Absolutely.
Return here from about the 10, stood up, taken down at the 27.
Again, just this Morgan team is playing with so much confidence right now. And listen, there's no quit in Grantsville at all, but you're seeing the fatigue start to set in both mentally and physically. And it's really hard when you're just, there's not a lot of Andy Dufresne's out there just chopping, trying to get through that brick wall and can climb through that river of you-know-what for freedom. And that's kind of where Grantsville's at right now.
Number 1 on the ropes right now. The Morgan students letting them hear it. Fake that screen here for Bell, and he's hit after a gain of 3.
And you're seeing right now it's starting to get a little chippy, a little bit of frustration there for Grantsville. This has been a tough game, and this is just it's almost obnoxious how stout this Morgan defense is, and especially when you're so used to having success. You can see Bell trying to improvise just to get positive yards because they really can't get a whole lot going here in the second half.
I don't think Morgan's given up a first down in the second half.
They haven't, and it's just been a really impressive effort. This defensive line especially has been so stout and so aggressive all night long.
Bell looking to throw, caught, and there is the first down of this second half on the reception by Parker Williams.
And Williams was an impact guy in the first half, and Bell finally able to get some time and find his receiver out there. Morgan, at this point in time, you're playing with house money.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to be blitzing. You're not going to be aggressive. You're going to allow Grantsville to slowly turn that clock down so that when you get the ball back, you can possess it till the very end.
Over the middle, looking for Rayner, incomplete. They brought him in motion, then tried to bring that little drag route, but too tall.
Yeah, and you can see 2 defenders on him the entire time. They're watching for it, as you see number 20, number 44, I believe it was, out there looking for him. Ty Wheeler in coverage. And why wouldn't you be? Rayner's been one of the most explosive athletes for Grantsville all game long. You've got to find a way to try and get in the ball now.
Second down. On the ground, nowhere to go. First man in was Ty Wheeler, as we've got penalty flags in on the play.
Yeah, and it looked like there was a lot of grabbing going on there. Hard to say exactly where it all started, but it does look like this one might be going against the Cowboys, unfortunately, and that's a big loss for Grantsville.
Oh, face mask.
Okay.
I couldn't tell if it was a holding indication. So anyway, but yeah.
And that was my initial reaction, was it looked like that the running back had been grabbed by the face mask, and then I see, you trying to interpret. Good job on these officials. They're disguising their calls. Everybody's out here disguising things tonight, Dane.
We talk about a young man in Ty Wheeler who won't get credit for that, but how about this? 49 tackles this year, 12 TFLs, 8 sacks. Guy's been a beast.
Well, and it's been hard to call his name because they've done such a good job of game tackling that everybody's gotten in on it for Morgan.
Let's just say the defensive film room is going to be a good place tomorrow for this Morgan D. That deflected on the pressure of that defensive line.
Again, Sean Moore in there, it looks like.
Yeah.
And he's done a great job all game long. He's a big, strong defender. Plays with a ton of energy. He's just that prototypical edge player that you just love to see anchoring that defensive line, along with number 77 there as well, Aiden Thompson, who's done a great job in the middle.
To me, that's the story of this game. It's been Morgan, the defensive line, the pressure they've been able to get. They can drop guys, bring 3 or 4, get pressure on the quarterback, disrupt the run game, and they haven't had to bring a lot of blitzes tonight.
They haven't, and they've done a great job of getting those 3 down, just being aggressive and getting into the pads of Grantsville.
They're bringing guys here. Grantsville has the screen, but it's tracked down from behind. Gain there of about 4, maybe 5.
And again, we talk about the athleticism. To be that big and strong is one thing, but when your defensive end can recover from almost getting to the quarterback to make the tackle on the screen receiver, that's just really impressive. Now Grantsville here, 3rd and 6. Got to dial up something to get a conversion, because this is your first time past the 50-yard line, and you really need to get a score.
3rd down. Love the 3rd down song here at Morgan High School, by the way. Love it. They'll try on the ground. Not going to get there. Look at the flow of that Morgan defense. They'll lose 2.
Yeah, you love the effort there by the running back to try and bounce it outside, but I was shaking my head the whole time. Morgan's just had that locked up all game long. Anytime they've tried to run that kind of power/trap play, Morgan's done a great job of just being very stout, plugging everything up, allowing their skill players to clean it up on the outside.
You think about whatever they've done, be it sweep, the power. The edge is not there against this Morgan D. It hasn't been there all night.
And that's the advantage of having the guys who play within your scheme and do their jobs.
Yeah.
Allows everybody else to do exactly what they need to do.
4th down, maybe the ball game here for Grantsville. Over the middle. Right through the fingertips, incomplete. He had it and couldn't reel it in, and Grantsville will turn it over on downs.
Matthew Harris is going to have a rough night's sleep with that one, as it just a little behind him, but had an opportunity to secure the catch. Finally got the protection up front for Bell that you've been searching for all throughout the game, second half. Well, really the game in essence, and just a really heartbreaking turnover on downs there for Grantsville.
Kind of been maybe a display of what this second half has been. Just has not been it has not been the second half that we've seen from Grantsville.
No, it's been minus the execution that we saw both in the first half and all throughout the season. You can see how much the mental side of the game plays as Morgan gets a big completion here on 1st down. Another explosive play there, 15 yards or more. And anytime you can get that, you have a lot more efficiency with your drives ending in scores as they cross the 50-yard line to the 45. And they're going to go hurry up a little bit here. slowing things down. The officiating crew, I think, it looks like we maybe have an injury on the sideline or something like that. But again, you're seeing the mental fatigue really start to set in for Grantsville here.
Yeah, I think this is the player who made the reception down on the Grantsville sideline. We'll step aside and be back. You're watching KSL's Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. Welcome back. It was a Grantsville player who was injured. Looked to be okay. There's Morgan here with the first down. They'll go on the ground. Gain of 4.
Yeah, one of my favorite plays as an offensive lineman, that counter tray, especially if you're that backside guard and you get to kick that defender out. That's an opportunity for a snot bubbler every time. Good gain there. Savage not able to really make a move to blow it open, but it doesn't matter as Morgan goes with a hard count there. And again, we talked about the mental fatigue starting to set in, and the physical fatigue is one thing. It's tough when your body is hurting and you played a long game, but it's the mental aspect of, man, I keep fighting, and it doesn't come through the way that I want it to, and you see that Morgan's just really capitalizing on that right now.
2nd and 1. Despain will throw that out just through the fingertips, incomplete. A lot of contact on that outside kind of in route.
Yeah, and he had all day to throw back there too. Again, with this one slowly getting out of reach here for Grantsville, you kind of wonder if Morgan just doesn't keep it on the ground, keep that ball moving, keep that clock moving, as it looks like they're going under center now with a hard count again, trying to draw Grantsville.
Yeah, and boy, there was movement up front, and it's going to be an offside call here. I saw someone kind of rock. I didn't know which way it'd go, but it is going to be a first down.
And you can see the head bob a little bit there, and then again, like sometimes with this point in the game, it's all about just staying disciplined and executing your stuff. And right now, it's just Morgan that's been able to do that better than everyone.
First down for the Trojans as Salmon thought he was going to slip out of that tackle. Instead, he will not. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
Great job by number 55 for Grantsville there to secure it. He's done a great job all night long. That's our guy, Dagan Heron. Yeah, who's kind of been everywhere. Saw him make a special teams play earlier and able to wrap up Salmon. One of the few times that they've been able to catch that fish.
One of the amazing things for me is this Grantsville defense has been so good at creating turnovers, and tonight Morgan just really hasn't played into that as this ball low, incomplete. But Grantsville, coming into the contest, had 17 interceptions that the defense has forced, and Despain's played a clean game.
Yeah, he has, and they've given them the right kind of throws. Like we see that one at the sideline where he's throwing low, only your receiver can get it, right? So you're not taking any big chances, and you really haven't needed to.
No.
They've had a lot of good reliable play from the running back position. They have a lot of talent at the wide receiver position, and Despain, I've just been really impressed. The quarterback play in this state, Dane, is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think Jack Despain's a great example of it.
It was one of the things Coach Burton told me is, we just got to take what they give us. They have to give us something. We just got to take it. And Nick has done a great job. Pistol formation, throwing, and just a little too backside shoulder there for Tate Nelson.
Good job by Rayner out there on defense. He's got him locked up well as Despain tries to go with the little comeback. It looked like it was what he was trying to throw there, but again, Morgan taking a lot of time off the clock on that series, and will give Bo Johnson an attempt here. It looks like they're going to punt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rayner standing back at his own goal line. 5 minutes to go. This away, angled into the end zone for the touchback.
Grantsville putting the block on there, a risky play, able to avoid roughing the kicker there. That would have been a real metaphorical nail in the coffin. Instead, they'll start out here at the 20-yard line. Have to expect them to come out and try to get a big play early, get Bell throwing the ball. It's getting colder and colder, Dan. You and I are up high.
Yeah.
But even down there where you're coming out of the canyon, Grantsville's feeling that wind. So you're just anything you can do to get the ball rolling, I think, at this point in time is, it's it's worth a shot.
Coming into tonight's game, Grantsville was 1 in the RPI. Morgan was 3. The RPI was not a fan of Morgan's schedule, but boy, tonight that's going to get a big shot in the arm. Juab was sitting at 2 coming into action on Friday. Certainly to be shakeup in the RPI after this one, is Grantsville starting at their own 20, and a run here gobbled up for a gain of 2.
Yeah, you can see some of these guys starting to cramp up a little bit here. Sean Moore getting double teamed on that one, and it's probably a good idea to get him off at this point in time, as you've more or less secured it. If you're Morgan, if you're Grantsville, you want to keep after it. You want to try and get above that 14-point margin so you can hang your hat on something. This is a tough game for them. They come in on the road.
Yeah.
It is a long trip up here from Grantsville, I'm not going to lie. And listen, you and I would not do well on a school bus. I've ridden on those school buses before. It's a tight fit.
I was sitting, well, literally like 20 seconds ago. It was a nice little trap here. They're trying to catch Morgan, and they got him. A bit of a jab there. It's a nice run there, picking up about 15, and a late flag coming in. They'll tack on extra yardage.
Yeah, nice job on number 28. They're trying to get the arm out on the stiff arm, kind of misses on it, and you can see the fatigue sitting in is Dylan Richardson able to get the big play, and I have to think that's a late hit out of bounds, right?
Yeah. I was thinking earlier, somewhere Dusty's sitting in a studio right now saying, that bus ride, I'm telling you.
I can relate to that as a not small individual. Anytime you have to squeeze on a school bus, it's a rough day.
Yeah. They're going to tack on 15 here. The dead ball penalty will move across the 50 for Grantsville for the first time in this second half. And we've got our statistician / retired referee here keeping us honest. Second time in this second half.
I knew I recognized you from somewhere.
Yeah, he threw you out of a game.
Probably more than one. I know for sure there was a few unsportsmanlike penalties. Now, my game with the officials was always that I could say whatever I wanted as long as it said "sir" or "ma'am" at the end of it.
There you go.
There was that kind of understanding. But it's officiating. That's when I could go off on for a long time because it's a really tough job.
Yes.
And super grateful for those men and women who step up to the plate and do that for our high school athletes.
Bell looking over the middle. Again, coverage is there. Incomplete.
Yeah, and you can see Rayner he's given it his all this game. There's not a lot of juice left in those legs. We talk about it. He's such an Iron Man. He goes both ways, offense and defense, and it's a position, receiver, corner, kick returner, punt returner. He's such a weapon. You want to try and get him the ball as much as you possibly can. Get him out there as much as you possibly can.
It's one of the tough things, and you look at this matchup. The sidelines very differently sized tonight, and you look at this Morgan roster. It is a full roster. It does not look like a 3A bench. And talking with Coach Burney, said, yeah, we've pretty much got 22. We don't play a lot of both ways guys, and that's not the story for Grantsville and a lot of these 3A programs. Is Bell stepping up here? Bell with a little bit of space. How about the run here for Hunter Bell inside the 20 to the 10-5. Touchdown, Grantsville, a 47-yard touchdown run.
Well, that's what we've been expecting from Hunter Bell all game long. He has that ability to be so explosive with his legs. Morgan's just done a terrific job of keeping him in check all game long. Finally see him out in the open field, makes a defender miss, able to cut back, and just has that breakaway speed to get it across the end zone and in for the touchdown.
This now officially the most points Morgan's given up this year, as the point after up and good.
But we can talk about all that kind of stuff, Dane, but I think the more important part about it is if you're Grantsville, have to imagine that you're going to see Morgan again, right? Like this does nothing to change in my mind where these teams rank in terms of this classification, right? And so if you're Grantsville, whatever you can do right now to generate some momentum, because you're going to see, barring something catastrophic, right, or some kind of massive, either injury or something like that to Morgan, or just complete lapse, which isn't at high school level. That's part of why I love this level of plays. It can happen. So whatever you can do to get going and give yourself some momentum and some opportunity, I think it's a great thing for Grantsville.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, you talk about 3A. Again, coming into games tonight, Grantsville 1, Juab 2, Morgan 3. What spot do you want to be in? You want to be in 1, right? You want to have one really tough game not 2. And that's not a knock to the rest of 3A. There's plenty of teams that can compete, but I think most people feel those are the 3 teams to beat. And if you're in that 2 or 3 seed, you've got a potential 2 matchups you've got to go through to win a championship. As here's a nice return for Morgan, and taking it up is Brogan Garrett, and late flags coming in here now.
Brogan Garrett with the carry. Tackled by number 4, Joseph Wright.
Great return there by Morgan, and you can see I don't think it was a malicious play by the Grantsville defender to pull him down out of bounds. Maybe just some unawareness, just maybe a little bit of whatever. But you're going to tack another 15 yards on it as well. Put Morgan into really good position here to get another score possibly. But like you're saying, the class of this division of 3A is still, in my mind, Morgan, Juab, and Grantsville. And so whatever happens going forward, you're all building to get to that point. And now heavy weighs the crown on Morgan's head, because I think they've kind of, this is a program that's used to being at the top.
Yep.
They've really cemented themselves as the number 1 team.
Morgan going to start in Grantsville territory. I think that the eventual outcome no longer in doubt, but see, I think final score maybe still is Lish. Boy, you talked about it, Brian. As it gets cooler, that give just not quite the same traction.
Yeah, and it's not just that it's like gone from 60 to 55 or 50. Like, we've gone a pretty substantial drop, and you're up here at elevation a little bit higher than what I'm used to, anyways, in my nice Salt Lake Valley location. But these grass fields, it gets slippery, and you see a guy like Lish who's so aggressive with those cuts. It's such a big part. And he's such a powerful guy, too.
Yes, yeah. That's been the thing for me that has surprised me, is the power and physicality of Morgan. And it's not just been one position. I mean, Lish, again, right, lowering the shoulders there to deliver a hit. We've seen that tonight. But even the grittiness up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage, this is a very, very physical Morgan team.
Yeah, it is. And they set the tone early on that they're going to be physical, and Grantsville did their best to try and counter. I think there comes a point where just size takes over.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's not a whole lot you can do when there's a guy that's got an arm that's 3 inches longer than yours. And, I think with Lish, you see the measurements on the roster. And then, listen, I love all the high school coaches in our state. I love them. I want to give them hugs, high fives, Gatorades, whatever they want. They like to embellish a little bit with the roster measurements, and I get it. But Lish, every bit of his 6-foot frame and that 170 pounds.
They'll stay on the ground on 3rd down, and that's what we're talking about. You have 3rd and 7, and you run the football and pick up 6.5. I mean, that's been Morgan tonight.
And you can see as the Grantsville defender slow to get up there, and that's, just the constant deliverance of being the hammer and not the nail. I think that's really what gave Morgan the win here tonight. It wasn't some special sauce or elite scheme or anything like that. It was just consistently being in position to make contact, to initiate the contact and carry it through.
It looks like a 10-game winning streak for the Cowboys going to come to an end here on the road as play clock countdown inside of 10 seconds. And we'll see if they have a chance to get this off. 4, 3 seconds on the play clock, 2, and they're going to have to take a timeout here. Timeout taken by the Trojans. We will, we'll take a break. We'll come back, have 4th down when we come back.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Welcome back. 4th down. The offense on the field here for Morgan, trying to salt this one away. A first down would do it. On the ground, first down, Salmon swimming
Still
upstream.
going.
Look at Salmon churning those legs inside the 20 to the 13. First down, Morgan. Jet Salmon with the carry.
Well, you love to see it if you're Morgan. This one's out of reach. It could have been an easy thing for Jet Salmon to go down there, but he just keeps on swimming, and I apologize. There's not a whole lot you can do when you're impressed by a guy like that who just keeps running, staying true to the name Jet Salmon. He just kept swimming on that one. Great play. Gets his crowd fired up for one last highlight.
Morgan out in victory formation as our clock down to 40 seconds left. This will be the largest margin of loss for Grantsville since the 2020 state semifinal when they lost to the Morgan Trojans 28-0. That'll do it. Final play, Morgan 38-20. Brian, your final thoughts and a player of the game.
Well, for me, Dane, it's hard for me to point out anybody other than Jack Despain for player of the game. Now, there are a lot of options, but he was just in control of the offense all night long. Did a great job in terms of, Nick Despain. I keep calling him Jack. Got the wrong roster. But he is a phenomenal football player and one that I was excited to watch live tonight. It met every single expectation. Final thoughts is just this was a dominant performance by Morgan, and it's the kind of performance that, not in the sense of they were dominant the entire game, but just in terms of we are still the team to beat in 3A. And you love to see these kinds of programs where there's tradition, there's history, there's all that kind of backstory in terms of being the greats to continue that tradition. And so huge shout out to Morgan. That defense was suffocating the second half. It was a great effort by Grantsville. Took as many blows as they could in the first half there. Just a few too many mistakes to overcome. And if you're going to beat Morgan going down the road, you just got to be crisp. But the good news for Grantsville, they know what the marker is now, and they can get to work to try and hit that moving forward.
A 24-7 second half for the Trojans. One in the trenches, one with the physicality. Complete effort by Morgan as they protect home field, and they get the win over Grantsville 38-20. We want to thank you for joining us here on KSL Sport Rewind's Game of the Week. For Doug Jardine, Brian Brown, my name is Dane Stewart, and thank you for joining us. And congratulations to Nick Despain on being our player of the game. Catch us the rest of the year right here on Friday nights.